Well, it's the time we've all been waiting for. Action Comics 1024. Brian Michael Bendis writing with John Romita Jr. on the art. And there's a little asterisk here we have to mention because obviously it's normally me and Matt that talk about this. Every month at patreon.com/mailfuzztv, a patron at a higher tier, $30 tier specifically, can make either myself or Connor read a book. And we had a new one this month. And when I said, hey, what do you want Connor to read? You've picked the Connor's Corner tier. They said, well, this month, Connor's reading Action Comics too. So, Connor's jumping in here mid-arc into the world of John Romita Jr. art. So this is going to be exciting. So earlier on, I was indicating that there was like a movie reference that I wanted to make, and I'll point out specifically when we get to the page that it struck me. There's obviously it's bad art throughout because it's terrible. But there's a panel in this book where somehow, instead of it looking like Superman's head is just on his shoulder, or shoulders, you know what I mean, right? It actually somehow looks like he's done like a full Exorcist 360, and his head. So instead of looking like I think he's maybe looking at his left, right? But instead of looking at his left, it looks like his head's been all the way around the right to then land looking left. And I don't know how you achieve that just with a straight-on view in a comic book, but somehow John Romita Jr. has accomplished that feat. I'll point it out when we get to it.
John, I was just skimming through to see if I could see it.
Yeah.
I think he's actually looking to his right.
Well, maybe the other way around. I couldn't remember which way around it was.
But I think I know. I think I found it.
Yes.
Because if it's not that, then did it happen twice?
The fact that from my description you could recognize it.
Oh, pretty easily. Yeah.
It's saying something. So
it's not that far in.
Yeah, so we have Mr. Whisper, whatever he's called, who's like monitoring Superman and Co. For Leon. So I actually posted on Twitter about some of the art here, particularly Fire Chief Melody Moore, who looks nothing like she ever has before. She has spiky hair for some reason in this issue.
Do you know what she looks like? Because again, bear in mind, never read this character before.
Yes.
Don't know who she is. I assume this is what she looked like. She looks like something out of like the Sandman books from the 90s.
That's what I said on Twitter. I said Sandman reject looking haircut was my tweet.
One, I did not see your tweet. Just want to make that clear.
Sure.
I had no idea.
So this
but it is, and it was fine in those books because that was of the time, and it suited the tone.
So this up to this point, this character has had shoulder length flowing red hair.
Yes.
Almost Lana Lang-esque. All right.
Okay.
When I tweeted this, someone responded with saying, "Wait, you say it's meant to be this character?" and posted some images from previous, issues.
So I'm gonna let you explain what goes on with Melody before I go off on my rant.
Okay.
So.
What, the whole thing with Melody?
Yeah, because I'm very upset.
Well, yes. This is this is my. You saw the old images.
I've just seen the images. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So I actually, if it wasn't for the fire hat, the fireman's hat that she's putting on the shelf, I would never have known this was her. From that first panel. So this is essentially her final issue, because the big shock thing here is that Red Cloud, in order to provoke Superman and Co., kills her, and we get this big dramatic scene later on where Superman hears the police radios or sirens or whatever in the distance, and he flies off, and the others follow him, and he sees we don't get to see it, and I think it's effective in not showing it, as a choice. Again, the art's all terrible, but the choice to not show the body, I think, is a good one. And I'm like, her last appearance, she was unrecognizable in this horrible art.
I'd like to say I get where you're coming from. That it was the right choice to not show the body. However, I didn't realize she was dying in that first scene. I didn't realize she was being killed. I was like, it wasn't until later that and not knowing who the characters were, I had to really put it together. I was like, oh, that was that character that died.
So Red Cloud has been used as Leon's muscle, right? At any time she needs someone wiped out.
Yeah.
That's who she goes to, right?
Contextually for you guys, seeing the red smoke was enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Because for me,
I didn't know she was for sure dead, but yeah, it definitely ends in a cliffhanger of she's in danger, And I
was like, oh, they're taking her to use as leverage. She's running for mayor, right? Yeah. And Leon's gonna offer her a deal. You're gonna work for me. This is, or But Pete nailed it. My biggest issue with that is, Bendis created this character, right? She was someone that really looked up to Superman and what he stood for, and that gets so inspired that she's going to run for mayor. So for Leon to make one of her big moves by taking her out, yeah, narratively that's great. But you're going to have the last time she's on screen, on panel, look like this?
It's trash. I was laughing while you were talking. I don't know because of anything you said, because I went to the next page and it's when the super family are arriving in the Daily Planet, and it's John's head, his forehead.
You mean
I don't know which crappy B-movie villain he's reminding me of here. I'm getting like a Matt Dillon kind of esque.
I would like to talk about a couple of things on this page.
Yes.
This top half of the panel. John's pose along with his forehead. What is that? And also Superman's head kind of tucked down into his shoulder, into his chest. Like what's going on there?
I don't know.
Why is Brainy deciding, no, I'm coming in upside down, screw the rest of you?
Even Brainiac's like the way his knees are bent are kind of weird.
It's like he's about to springboard off the ceiling.
Yes.
Like he's like a swimming start.
Yeah. The FBI are raiding the Daily Planet. Chase is pissed at Lois because of the whole Leon connection, and Perry's freaking out because they have no paper to publish, and blah blah blah. There's some jokes here with Brainiac hugging the Daily Planet ball, and
those are good. Like those him saying, "Look at the keyboard." Like the story here, I have little issues.
Oh, the story's good. The story. I mean, obviously, Kara wouldn't really get the context.
I have no idea what's going on with any of
it. It isn't like Bendis, obviously, but like. You know, the actual story beats are solid, and I think the actual death is well done from a writing perspective. The art kills all of it.
It's very upsetting. Because then you're gonna bring Kara into this in that first
up until the moment where Superman flies off, it was kind of like just a whatever issue where things are going forward like they have been, and then this beat where he just flies off without talking to anyone. Sees the body and tells other people not to look. In fact, it's when the others arrive at the body, the page where he looks like he's done a full Exorcist twist to look down the one side.
You know what I think part of it is? Because I was trying to figure it out. I think it's the way the cape comes round over one shoulder, so it's like over the front of him, but not on the other side. It makes it look like that should be the back, so that's why he's turning that way, but he's not, and that's what makes the neck look so wrong. And then you've got like lines on the back of the neck to show the turning, but it looks like because of the cape, it makes it look like it's going in the wrong direction.
It's terrible still.
No, I'm not excusing it. I'm just trying to deconstruct what's actually causing that horrible effect.
Even the next page, the way he's got his chest up in there, because he flies up to the sky so he can basically scream. Yeah, and that's when Kara shows up. And do you know what? I'm so happy Supergirl's involved with the rest of the family again. Of course, again, the art just ruins a lot of it, but
she looks like Gollum.
Can I now that she's here, I want to bring up one of my Bendis complaints, Bendis specific complaints. You can go way back to when we first learned that Bendis was coming to DC, and one of my biggest complaints that I have with Bendis, that I said on record, is all his characters sound the same. In this issue, 3 different characters say "Great Scott." And I don't feel like any of them really should be saying that. One at a push. You got Lois, Clark, and Kara all saying that. Clark is the only one at a push I can see saying that. Lois and Kara, absolutely not. And why are they all saying it in the same issue? Kara is only like a page after Clark says it.
I could buy it from Lois and Clark, being that it's Lois and Clark. But yeah, why is Kara saying that? That bugged me too.
I can get Clark feels like okay, I can see him maybe saying it. Lois, if you tell me that she's picked it up from him, maybe, but it's the way it's the first thing she says when she walks into the planet and the FBI are all there, and she goes, "Great Scott, what are you all doing here?" I'm like, what?
It's not the first time she said
that. Threw me off already.
It's not the first time she said it in this run, so it didn't throw me off because it's at least been established that it's something she says.
Okay, fair enough. It felt out of character to me coming in, like her just kind of throwing out there, and I said maybe I could buy. She's picked it up from Clark, who I can buy saying it, but then Kara as well. All 3 of them in the same issue. Like, what?
I think the way Kara acts is very in character, though. You know, the whole holding Superman, all that's all fine. We do the round of wait, who's this Connor idiot? Sequence here, where they try to explain. She's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot John was all big now."
Also, her saying, "Oh, are we related?" She's like, "I'm the clone of Superman and Lex Luthor." And she goes, "So I'm going to say no." I'm like, "Well, no, that means you are."
Yeah, I would say kind of related to.
That kind of makes her.
I mean,
an aunt, I guess.
Again, I like the story beats here of this murder essentially makes Superman, like, he's so driven to find Leon and find the invisible mafia that he starts to look for where he can't see to try and find where they're hiding, and all the super family then start helping him, and we get these. And this is what was always so frustrating when the art's not good. In fact, the best panel of the whole book is the page where Mr. Whisper says they've found him, and you get the 2-page spread. And the reason why it's the best panel is because most of it's just all in darkness, and you just see the red eyes.
That's what I was gonna say. The proportions are still off because it's JRJR, but because there's not a lot of line work, it's fine. So yeah.
But the actual story beats here, I love they're looking for them. Leon's being cocky and thinking she'll never be found. The scientist from Young Justice is there and complaining that she wants, protection or whatever. And no, I mean the story beat moments are good. That is the frustrating thing about this. In fact, Kara finally gets to see what I was talking about, how Red Cloud's supposed to be Cloud, and in the past she has been. Here she looks like Red Groot because everything's all sharp because of the way we're imaging her.
Just a question on that page you like with the silhouette. Can any of you answer to me why?
Comparatively.
Okay, comparatively. Relatively speaking, in the context of this book, I'll be fair.
Yes.
Can any of you explain to me why Superman's belt doesn't glow like everyone else's? Like everyone has their yellow belts glowing, or at least the symbol. Kara has the whole, the yellow. John and Connor both have, the symbol or the belt. Superman's just nothing. And I don't understand why. Because he has the yellow belt, right?
Yeah. You're spot on there, Connor.
It felt noticeably absent because there was nothing over his whole body until his feet, and then I really felt the empty space more. Again,
there's pages of this issue where characters' heads don't look like they belong in the body. This missing from this silhouette page is really the least of my concerns, but I can see what you're saying.
Look, I'm not saying there aren't other problems. There are lots of other problems.
There's a long list, and this is like number 27 on it, so...
Yeah, that doesn't excuse this, though. I want to call it out. Look, if people are paying good money for me to read this shit, I'm going to pull out all the critiques I can.
You're not wrong.
I mean, yeah, that's what it is.
I get what you were saying about the mist, whose name I've forgotten already.
Red Cloud.
Red Cloud, thank you. I wouldn't have guessed that was supposed to be fog, mist, or whatever it is, gas.
And other artists did draw it correctly. Like, other artists did draw it, and it was clearly a vapor.
Is it the whole body is supposed to be vaporous, or just the tendrils coming off?
Full body.
Okay. This is just a wrong then, I guess.
Yeah.
That didn't look that bad to me because I haven't got the frame of reference of what the design was supposed to be. But okay, fair enough.
I'm gonna laugh when they are in the Daily Planet globe, and that's where they're hiding.
That'd be pretty funny, actually.
That would be terrible.
Dear. No, I mean, there's so much wrong with a lot of this. Even the second page, where it's the 2-page layout of like the Whisperer, Mr. Whisper, talking to Leon about watching the supers, and even Superman's face in that bottom sort of panel, the wide panel at the bottom.
Yeah.
It's just like, what's going on there? Why is there all these lines, and not even all over his face, just kind of in the corner of his jaw, going to kind of the cheek?
Yeah. I would say on these first couple of pages, I feel like I personally should have been very grateful for these because they felt very recappy.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I'm just jumping in here. But I struggled to get through it without zoning out multiple times because there was just so much dialogue, like that all was just going on and on and on and on.
Even for me, there was a lot of dialogue in this issue. But I don't know if I was just thinking about it more because I was like, oh, Connor's gonna have to read this.
I mean, I didn't have a problem with the dialogue after the first few pages. It was just the recappy stuff at the start.
I don't know, that was bad. That page where Lois gets into the planet and they're all there is pretty terrible for it. Like it's almost like Bendis knew there was a couple of silent pages coming up and was like, I need to cram more in. It's pretty overwhelming, especially in that first half of the book.
Oh well, I do like what the story does, though. I mean, I just want to make that clear because this was always going to be a mostly negative discussion because of the art, but I do actually like the story beats and the dramatic moments that it has. But unfortunately, the art does legitimately distract from them every single step of the way. Matt, what are you giving Action Comics?
I'm gonna give this art's real bad. I'm gonna give this a 4.5.
That's rough from Matt. Connor?
It's a 2 from me. This is legitimately worse than some issues of Red Hood that I've read, because at least those have art that makes it quick to get through, and just I can sit and watch a perfectly pretty looking fight scene for 6 pages.
Yeah, this is so tough because I kind of like what the story's doing, but the art does just tank it so much. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with a 4. This hurts so much because like I like what the story's doing and have done for most of the Action Comics run. And this art is just
it says a lot that I can come in and give this book a 2, and it's not like obscenely low compared to your scores.
Honestly, like I'm someone, as long as the art is like serviceable, it won't detract from the story if I like the story. If I like if the writing's good, obviously great art will enhance it, but as long as it's serviceable art, this is like one of the few examples I can think of where the art is actively just tanking it. Like not just like putting it down a point or two. Like it's tanking it completely.
Yeah.
But it's that bad. It is that bad.